Hello, everybody. Welcome to Speed Gaming 2, and you have just tuned in time for the Crystalis Randomizer showcase here. We've got a four-way race going on, at least four runners on the restream. Looks like we have 5 or 6 runners actually in the SRL race, but we're going to be focusing on these 4 here. My name is Cross Product. I'll be bringing you tonight's matchup along with Demarine. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing really well. I'm actually really interested to see how our runners handle this full shuffle seed tonight. There's also a couple of twists that I've heard are going to be going on, which will be really interesting to see how they work their way through. Because these twists will make the seed a little bit longer, a little bit more entertaining. We'll see a lot more of the game tonight.
All right, awesome. I'll go ahead and give us a rundown on the runners, and after I do that, why don't you give us a rundown on the flags we have set. So on the top left, we have Matt Rick, and on the top right, we have Dragon Dark. Both, I think, the top 2 any percent runners of Vanilla, or the original Crystalis, the non-randomized version. And Dragon Dark's just one of those not jack of all speedrunners, like really good at all speedrunners. If you check out his profile on speedrun.com, he's got a ton of different games and several first-place records. And on the bottom left, we have Tornell357, and on the bottom right, we have PMA Kafal, or just Kafal for short. And both of these guys I've been chilling out with for the last 6 months or so, helping to develop and playtest Randomizer since its inception. So all of these guys, veterans in the Crystalis Randomizer community, and even the top 2 runners, Matrick and Dragon Dark, are very accomplished any percent runners as well. So, Demarine, why don't you go ahead and tell us about today's flags?
Yeah, so today we're running what would look normally like standard full shuffle. So all of the items in the game are just going to be thrown in a bag, shuffled around, and thrown back into the world where they normally go. Be they items, be they key items, be they spells. You could get a spell from a box. You could get a sword from a spell location. We don't know. Enemies fully randomized. Shops also all shuffled up. So everything is going to be all over the place.
All right, and the race will be commencing in just a couple seconds here. I'll also throw out, along with that full shuffle, that includes mimic chests, the little animated traps that wake up and bite you when you try to pick them up. So those locations could have items, and there could be where you would normally find an item, one of those mimic traps. Okay, the race just started here. So anybody not familiar with Crystalis at all, you are missing out, because this is one of my personal favorite games. That doesn't, just because it's my favorite doesn't mean that you're missing out, but it is a phenomenal game by SNK. Kind of like a post-apocalyptic Zelda. It's just purple Zelda. No, it's really cool. It stands out from The Legend of Zelda in that it's a top-down view with experience and magic and shop items and such. You see already the players running into that shop, and the items in the shop have been shuffled. And if you're familiar with Crystalis speedrun, you might also know that it's possible to get certain items at a discount or for free. That glitch has actually been disabled in today's flags.
Yeah, one of the interesting things we're seeing with routing right now, by the way, is you'll see that Matrick, 3 of our runners are going over to talk to Zebu to activate the alarm flute, because that was one of our starting items. Matrick has gone through a passageway that was added just to the randomizer that lets you travel directly from Leaf to Portoa. So he's making a break for the item in Portoa, while the other 3 runners are going to be using the alarm flute for the first alarm flute item.
Yeah, so Matrick is going to be doing what we call a statue glitch to clip past the guard, and that will have Purple Queen give him an item. There's a green queen and a purple queen. This is Purple Queen. It's as easy as it looks.
Yep, you just walk up to the right of whoever's there, sneak behind them by mashing the beep, and in this case, get a sword.
So the Windmill Keeper has given Fog Lamp. That is one of 2 items required to access the Angry Sea, the other being the Shoal Flute.
Which they also got in Leaf, so our runners will have Angry Sea access as well.
Yeah, that it won't get them too much just yet. They'll need a sort of wind in order to break down the walls to get any items in Evil Spirit Island. Now, here is a very interesting flag that we have included today, and and that is that you will not require a ball, you will not require a level 2 sword to break walls like you would in the vanilla Crystalis game. So just having the Sword of Wind will allow them to break down the wind walls and access Google Spirit Island.
Yep. With the Sword of Water, we can make bridges on the overworld and in certain caves in a lot of locations. Matrick is going to take advantage of this right now by going to talk to Rage, who normally gives you information when you have this. But he's also going to be able to cross the bridge and get access to the backside.
Yeah, again, not needing the ball of water. We have a quick question in chat. The logic does require clipping through NPCs in a couple of places. You can disable that in the flags, so that you would have to get in there and talk to the fortune teller, paralyze the guard like you normally would in a casual playthrough of the game. But yeah, clipping through NPCs could be required, is in logic.
Yeah, and with the Sword of Wind from Rage, our runners do have access to something that a lot of our runners already have a disdain for, which is the 2 caves on the side of Portoa here, one of which is the Crystalis Plant Cave, and the other which is the very hated Fog Lamp. Yeah,
not a terrible couple of places to go in a full shuffle, because you'll find several items in the Fog Lamp Cave. I think 2, is it 1 or 2 inside the cave of the Crystalis Plant? But so several item locations, and we have Tornell on the bottom left screen here, already activating that flute, saying hi to Dolphin Buddy. I don't know if he grabbed that wind sword though. At the very least, he wants to. Well, okay, maybe he didn't do it yet. I was gonna say he probably wants to at least visit the town of Joel and make a teleport point to go back to later. Now, normally this is where you would actually find the dolphin and give him a medical herb. But he's actually gonna do a little wrap around here so that he doesn't have to statue glitch into the room, just out. He's getting bullied a little bit, but... Alright, it looks like Matrick's gonna check this item shop, and... yeah, nothing too useful right there. Fruit of Lime, Fruit of Power... Fruit of Lime is probably the least important tool item to pick up. It restores petrification, so if you are unfortunate enough to get hit by a stone gaze from one of the enemies and you can't wait 5 seconds to be self-healed, you can use a Fruit of Lime.
Yeah, a lot of the enemies wander randomly, so you feel like you're going to randomly die. It's not always the best feeling.
Yeah, and I'm going to rely... I don't know about you, but I am going to rely on chat to keep us honest today. I see a Bow of Moon. Was that all on Dolphin?
No, that was a... I didn't see that, did I?
Alright, so...
It might have been a misclick. There is a bow. Patrick does have Patrick does have a bow in his inventory, so...
Okay. Matrick has a Bow of Moon. And he also will talk to Zebu. He's actually going to go ahead and do this the vanilla way. He's going to go through the front cave. There are 2 ways to get to the Bryn Mawr area. You could either go through Zebu's cave if you have Sword of Fire, or you can go through the Vampire Cave behind the windmill if you have Sword of Wind. So, and the Vampire Cave also has something like 6 items. It's a pretty crazy number of item locations for first dungeon. But yeah. Just because it's the first dungeon in the game doesn't mean that it's going to be free. Yep, Bow of Moon on the Dolphin, indeed. It doesn't mean that it's going to be free because the enemies are shuffled. It could be full of Flail Knights and Goros.
Yeah, and the amount of armor that our units that our players have here, to their credit, is a whole lot of 0 right now.
Yeah, armor shops also being shuffled here.
Yeah, the price on armor shop scales, though, with the number of key items you've gotten, and it scales downward. So the idea is that items get more expensive, but your armor gets cheaper, but also as you get key items, enemies scale up as well, so it gets dangerous in a hurry, and so far nothing super dangerous, but, Tornell's going to be working slowly through these, but there's your Flail Knights.
Alright, Matrick actually took a save here. So, aside from not needing a ball or a bracelet to break walls or make ice bridges, it is also logical to fight the Goa Fortress bosses without any level 2 or level 3 swords. You can set a normal mode flag would be, you have to have the bracelet in order to kill this guy, but as we have the flags today, you are not guaranteed to get even a level 2 Ball of Sword. Level 2 Ball of Sword, yeah.
Level 2 Ball of Sword it is.
Level 2 Ball, that's what I said, but not guaranteed. You might get it. You might hope for it.
You might have to fight Mato 2 with just the Sword of Water and no upgrades, which, yeah.
As of now, that's not quite. It could be.
Nobody wants to do that.
And basically, if they find Flight and Sword of Thunder, they can get everything behind them. And if they find Sword of Thunder, well, you need Sword of Thunder to get to him anyway. So if they find Flight, they can get all the items behind him. If they find Sword of Fire, they can get all the items in front of him, including the Fire Sword, in order to kill Sabira too. Sabira, the teenage witch. Oh no, an unfortunate death from Dragondark. But he just entered the overworld screen. So another interesting little tidbit. What's the word? Here's some stuff that's useful to know.
Whenever you hop out onto the overworld, it creates
thank you.
So that you don't like die.
Yeah, Demarine knew what I was getting at. As she said, whenever you enter a room that is savable in, it automatically gives you a quick save, so that it's a checkpoint for when you die. Oh, nice flashcart menu from Matrick.
Yeah, Matrick found a lot of nothing in the Carissa Plant Cave and moved on to Fog Lamp Cave. Here in Windmill Cave, we found the key to Stixie, and we found the glowing lamp and the broken statue so far. So that's access to one more key item location. And we also have change, which means we actually will, based on these items, have full access to the backside of the world.
Yeah, that's right. So the easy way to get there is to find a Sword of Thunder and teleport to Chiron, but, if you get a bunch of other stuff, you can get in there the front way, instead of warping in.
Yeah, you need the glowing lamp and the broken statue to make the Statue of Gold to calm the angry sea. You need the fog lamp and the shell flute to be able to summon the dolphin. And then you need change to be able to change form to be able to walk past the Dragonian soldiers.
Yep.
We have all of those things.
So we have Go at access. Oh, I like Dragondark's strat here. He's going to be attacking some of these Gorgons. Gorgons are worth a ton of experience and gold relative to other monsters of the same level, so really, probably one of the best enemies to farm on.
Yeah, the money is great. They're fairly weak. They grind them in the vanilla speedrun as well a fair bit. The other thing is they hit very hard, so you need to be a little bit careful around them.
Yeah, they hit hard and they do also petrify, but they always pause before they shoot their petrification gaze. So, if you're on your toes, you can dodge them, but they do a lot of damage on a body contact as well, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, but when they pause to fire, you can set up by just hitting them up against the wall and then stabbing them repeatedly.
Man, as we said, Dragondark having the any % world record is dead. Oops.
Yeah, playing very aggressively in Windmill Cave and paying the price.
Oh, that flyer, that pea hat.
I think he's got a bad checkpoint. I think he's got a low health checkpoint here.
Yeah, he had warp boots, but those were inside the cave. So since when he died, he didn't get to keep them.
Yeah, warp boots are super important in this game. You'll notice that Tornell in his inventory has a couple pairs.
Matrick is walking into Joel, and not only does he want to check the shop, warp boots there, that's nice, but no money. That also opens up access to Evil Spirit Island.
Yeah, Mr. Spokes just making note that Dragondark does not have the current world record. I think he has the former world record at this point. But still,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I'm not up on my Crystalis leaderboard.
That's, I think, recently, as of the release of Randomizer. A 55, holy cow. I remember watching VOD from Dragondark's initial sub-hour run. A 55 just sounds crazy.
Yeah, apparently there was an addition to the run that was discovered just before Dragondark's RPG limit break. Using a glitch to get onto Mount Saber North and give yourself warp boot access there so you can hop back there quickly, saving you about 2 minutes of walking. Among other things.
There's like to get to Nadari's?
Yep.
So it basically just saves you from walking from Bryn Mawr up to the text glitch and everything?
Yeah, and you skip the entirety of Saber West, which you only really do to get teleport anyways. So you just stay stocked up on free warp boots for the entire run instead.
And no free warp boots with today's flag set though. Alright, so Tornell has calmed the angry sea, and his reward will be a ball of wind. So give him a little bit more power to fight Kelbask. And this is the story mode flags. So that means that in order for the... I'm going to call Dragon the final boss, because I'm not going to spoil the ending. But let's just say Dragon's the final boss. Dragon 2 will not spawn unless they find all 4 swords and fight every major boss. That includes all 4 major bosses in Goa Fortress, as well as the first 3 major bosses, which are the first forms of all those bosses, excepting Carmine.
And Dragon 1 as well.
And Dragon 1 as well. Although Dragon 1 is just such a good check that I wouldn't even think to put him off.
Yeah, we always forget about him because he's basically target practice.
It's really quick 3 items, so I always prefer to go to Dragon 1 pretty much as soon as I can.
Yeah, so while our other runners are working their way around Foglamp Cave and Crystalis Plant Cave, and I think Dragon Dark's in Cave of Wind right now, gets some battle armor, which is real nice. So some actual armor for our runners today.
Oh, his body's paralyzed. So, Matrick has reminded us, right as the race was starting, that he has a bit of an aggressive play style, and he likes to take risks. Why don't you talk about going into Evil Spirit Island without having Sword of Fire?
Yeah, so when we talk about needing the swords for specific bosses, that each boss has an elemental weakness, and in the vanilla game takes no damage otherwise, but in this we call it tinking, they take 1 damage from... but going into Evil Spirit Island without the Sword of Fire means you have no way of really damaging Severa 1. Sword of Wind will let you gut Vampire again, because, Vampire's a hard boss. But without the ability to kill Severa, you're potentially orphaning a pair of checks back here at the end of the day.
Yeah, and Matrix heading right back in there. Hasn't found... did he have... Oh, he had Iron Pendant in that cave, I think, didn't he? Or did someone else get Iron Necklace? If Iron Necklace was in the Evil Spirit Island cave, that's basically vanilla.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're gonna see another statue glitch here on the bottom left. So all you have to do is you have to walk into the NPC from the top right, then hold down and right. Right? Is it down and right or down and left?
It's down and left, and then you just mash the sword button.
Okay, yeah, and you just... Is that a ball of wind?
Yeah, I know Tornell picked up the ball of wind. Ball of wind was it calming the angry sea?
Okay, so that's not what I was looking at. I was looking to see what he got from the basement of Queen Aurilla.
I'm having a really hard time keeping up with all the items, I apologize.
That's okay. Well, Dragon Dark's about to pick up that item as well. I thought it said that it was a ball of something, but that's apparently not right because Tornell only has 1 ball. Oh, it was a Sacred Shield. Well, that will protect the runner from paralysis when they have it equipped, and, it's the only shield that they found so far. So in this game, you have 2 different defensive ratings. One is armor that protects you from body hits, and one is a shield that protects you from projectiles, and I think also swords, like from the Dragonia. Oh, Ball of Water, that's a relief if they ever want to fight Mado. So not only will a ball and bracelet increase their projectile size, it'll also increase the base damage of the swords. In vanilla, the swords are progressively stronger, I think 1, 2, 4, and 8 for the 4 swords. However, in Randomizer, it's 2 if you have the sword, 4 if you have the ball, and 8 if you have the bracelet. So basically every sword has the potential to be as strong as Sword of Thunder is in vanilla. And the ball and the bracelet are also progressive.
in exchange, of course, the every enemy scales with the number of key items you have, so the game does get more difficult.
Oh, in the randomizer, I'm told, thank you, Mr. Spokes, the Sacred Shield also blocks curse shots. Those are the little rings that Dragon 2 shoots them, Carmine shoots them, and the Goros shoot them that turn you into a little blob, which is Matrix's avatar. And speaking of that, you want to probably go over to that channel and check out Matrix's avatar and click that follow button while you're at it. And also follow the rest of the runners, Dragon Dark, PMA Kafal, and Tornell 357. Should have a chat command for you. And there they are.
Yep, Tornell missing the plot check that you have to actually just set foot in Joel before Evil Spirit Cave opens, which is a standard miss. I think I've missed that more times than I care to admit.
Yeah, or how about walking into Joel and not walking in far enough to trigger the teleport point?
Oh, I've done that with Bryn Mawr before, because it's like 8 steps in. It's really weird.
Oh, apparently paralysis immunity was moved to ceramic shield, so okay.
Yeah, there's a couple of changes. Also, Psycho Armor's not the best armor in the game. It was nerfed down to like 20 defense, so ceramic armor is the best armor in the game.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so Matrix is fighting the vampire now. Vampire will take damage from... Yeah, it switches to the water since he has the level 2. And also, you see, he got a little fairy revival from the Opal statue he had just picked up. Normally, you have to have Opal statue equipped, but one of the nice little quality of life changes in Randomizer, you don't actually have to have that item selected. And since it causes certain, like, Storm Bracelet effects to break, it's actually really nice that you don't have to use it manually.
Yeah, it's a real frustrating thing when you have to use it manually, so it's good that we don't.
Yeah, and Irengon, thank you very much for the subscription with Twitch Prime. Enjoy your emotes. Thank you for supporting the Speed Gaming Network. So this is the last item that Matrix... Okay, so he does not want to tank Sabrina, or Sabira the Teenage Witch. So he's just going to peace out. If he gets a fire sword later, maybe he'll return. There is one item on Sabira, and also another item that an NPC will give you after you kill Sabira.
Sadly, the dream of Mato 2 with just a sword is dead.
Well,
I mean, and by dream I mean nightmare, and by nightmare I mean For anybody who's not familiar with Mato just rolls around in ball form for like minutes at a time, basically.
He's basically evil Sonic with 2 swords, with 2 katanas, and he also throws shurikens. He's evil Ninja Sonic. He's Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh god. If that sticks after tonight, I'm just blaming you.
Erase the VOD. Nobody clipped that. Alright, Dragon Dark is going to make it through here as well. So, Tornell, I think, is the only other runner who has gone through Angry Sea into the Goa area. However, I don't believe he went all the way to Chiron or checked any of the Mount Hydra items yet.
Yeah, without Sword of Fire, you really don't want to climb Mount Hydra. There's only 2 checks that you can make, and one is pretty darn far up the mountain. So
no, Mount Hydra requires Sword of Wind.
Oh, that's right.
Mount Saber requires Sword of Fire. But yeah, Mount Hydra, you can basically get everything other than the items in Styx and the Bow of Sun location, which requires Flight.
Yeah, you can get half the item. You get half the items in Styxy.
Styxy, I'm sorry, that's correct.
Yeah. For some reason, it's spelled completely correctly in the game, and we always mispronounce it.
Yeah. And the Water Sword will also allow them access to all those item locations. It looks like... Okay, so Tornell's doing... Alright, if you're paying attention to the bottom left screen and wondering why is this guy trying to eat that poison mushroom, he had gotten paralyzed, which prevents him from doing a charged sword shot. So that means he can't break the stone walls. However, you can only have one status effect active at a time. If he gets poisoned, then that will overwrite his paralysis so that he can go ahead and progress through this cave. Now, to add to that hilarity, he had the battle armor equipped, which meant that he was immune to poison, so he was just giving that mushroom hugs for the fun of it.
I mean, thankfully they didn't hit very hard because he was wearing battle armor, but...
Yeah, at least, yeah, he also had the defensive test. Ooh, a Carissa plant from Dragon Dark. Comboed with his change spell, he'll be able to get another item in the town of Amazons. Not very hard to get to if you can find some warp boots.
Yeah, just pop back to Bryn Mawr and then walk down.
Well, he's already been to Amazons. Check
Even
the
better.
item in the basement. So yeah, he can just teleport. Just a simple one-off little fetch quest that he can warp to. As soon as he finds enough money, or maybe teleport, or maybe find some warp boots and a couple of chests up here.
Yeah, Tornel's now interested in Evil Spirit Island here and trying to get the checks done.
Yeah, he will find an iron necklace here, which is pretty good. That doubles the defensive... Or, I'm sorry. I know some of the numbers have been changed around in Randomizer. In Vanilla, it would double your level contribution to your defensive stat. I don't remember, but at any rate, it'll basically make his armor stronger if he uses Iron Necklace. It doubles the armor base. Okay.
Iringan asking, do you need to have the dolphin to get that item on the water, which is the ball of wind? You do need it. It's a bug that was patched out, because you could fly over the whirlpool and get the item normally, but now it's actually connected to the gold statue trigger. So the whirlpool has to be removed for you to get that item, even if you have...
I believe he's talking about... Oh, the whirlpool item. So you do still have to calm the sea by having the broken statue and the gold lamp. However, I don't think you actually need to ride the dolphin into the square. I think you still can fly into it.
Yeah, you can still fly. You can fly over it and grab it.
Glowing lamp, I'm sorry. Glowing lamp, broken statue, gives you statue of gold.
Yeah, just for everybody who's keeping an eye out, just as a quick sort of, if you just need a quick look at how our runners are doing, one of the things that was added to the display here is you can see next to the level there's another item, or there's
the number, right?
Yeah, and the number is a counter of how many key item checks you've finished so far. So if you pop open a box and get a medical herb, it doesn't go up, but if you pop open that box and say you get the ball of water like Tornel just did, you'll notice that that number did increment to 17. So, you know, the more items that you get, that you know how deep into the game you are, you know how much experience scaling you're getting, and you know how much enemy scaling you're getting.
Tony the Tiger, not too much experience, but the farther behind you are in levels, the easier it is to grind. So that's why you'll see some of the more advanced runners will actually just avoid combat altogether until they get to a certain point where their grinding will go quickly.
Yeah, or you'll see them just pick on enemies that are worth a really large amount of money and not worry about experience per se, but only pick on enemies because of their cash value.
True. I think Dragon Dark's hurting for some warp boots right now.
Yeah, when you're hurting for warp boots, that means stabbing enemies in the face, usually. PMAK Val finding one of the least efficient enemies to grind on for any reason, though. The Dragonian soldiers take a large amount of time to kill.
Yeah, the ice zombies, on the other hand, that we have on the bottom right with Fall, those are actually grinded for quite a bit in any percent.
Yeah, they're pretty easy to deal with because they're slow, so you can just pin them up against the wall. And just a lot of the time you'll see in combat that pinning an enemy against the wall is a very quick way to just make short work of.
Yeah, unfortunately, the best way to kill those guys is to shoot a level 2 fire shot. Actually, that's the best way to kill a lot of enemies.
Yeah, we don't have that right now, but yeah, level 2 fire shot hits almost always double hits, and sometimes will even like triple or 4 hit enemies as it travels across the screen.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tornel is cleaning up Vampire 2 right now. Matrick is gonna make the change to make the drop off here in a minute.
Yeah, and Dragon Dark just did that. It was just the medical herb. Although, I guess Matrick just thought that would be faster than doing the statue glitch. He doesn't actually have the Carissa plant yet. Oh, we have a warrior ring for Dragon Dark. That's pretty sweet. Does that mean he can break walls with a single sword swing?
Yeah, it means
there it is.
Funny.
Bridge, nice.
Yeah, Warrior Ring is one of those items that runners really love to see. It's one of the two big endgame rings for offensive capability. This one just makes you shoot your level 1 beam every time you swing your sword, which is one way people will get through the endgame. And the other one, of course, is the Power Ring, which you use in any percent last I checked.
Yeah, basically, the Power Ring is so strong that you actually go and pick up the Power Ring as soon as you have access to it, I think.
Yeah, it just adds flat damage that basically ignores defense. So even if you're doing damage, you're just doing 4 damage. As long as it's not a tink, it will increase the amount of damage you do by an immense amount.
Yeah, so... Oh, okay, here's another interesting flag that we have set right here. Matrick is showing off Gas Maskless Swamp, which is in logic in today's flags. So this will... Just making it to the Village of Oak will unlock the location where you'd normally find the telepathy spell, where you have to fight an NPC named Stom. And you can just avoid the fight by using Warp Boots, which we may or may not see. Warp Boots have been pretty scarce this seed, so Matrick might actually want to do it the intended way and actually fight Stom.
Tornell's trying to tink down Sabera 1 right now.
Yeah, at least he's got Blizzard Bracelets. We'll get a lot of hits in if he does that level 3 charge here.
Yeah, but this is still very unsafe, no barrier, not a lot of healing to deal with.
So it looks like Dragon Dark is in the Fog Lamp Cave. He's... Oh no. Alright. Where the heck is this kid?
This is,
Oh no, this is the Fog Lamp Cave.
Yeah.
Never mind. I knew it all along.
You had it. You gotta believe in yourself. BMA Campbell is the only runner who's going to be pushing out some new ground here, as he, with his Warrior Ring, is going into Oasis Cave, it looks like.
Oh, yeah, we haven't seen Oasis Cave yet. So, no Thunder Sword yet, so they will have to orphan 2 items. This is actually where you would find the Power Ring. So, the Power Ring is so strong that, you could pick up the Power Ring after you go through Goa Fortress and you come out in the backside of Oasis Cave, right? And you're already in the cave where Power Ring is, and that would, as far as walking around goes, that would be a great time to route in Power Ring, right? But no, Power Ring is so strong, you actually go out of your way to come into this cave early to get it before going to Goa Fortress.
I mean, Cavefowl did not get that here though. Ends up getting Refresh, which is a heck of a reward for making this check early.
I think Refresh is definitely value here. And another flag that we have in Logic right here is we have the flag is set that you are not guaranteed to have the barrier spell in order to get past the gargoyles that spit at you, like in Cave of Styxy, in Carmine's area in Goa Fortress. There's these gargoyles that spit at you, and normally you would have the barrier spell, and in the standard flag set you would be guaranteed to have the barrier spell to get through that area. But yeah, without having the barrier spell, Refresh is very useful since it's required damage you have to take. Also, that Gas Maskless Swamp Refresh will definitely help out our runners here, and it looks like that's where Kafala is headed right now.
Yeah, Matrick, of course, also grabbing Refresh right now.
Yeah, he's got to be slapping him. Yeah, he burned through 5 or 6 medical herbs, which have been buffed, thankfully.
Yeah, they now heal for 50% more than they used to before, which is great. Because, unlike the vanilla game where you get Refresh right off the word go, in this case, it's a little hard to get for a while. we'll see if Matrick decides to make the aggressive play and use that refresh spell to check the back of Dragonia Fortress. There's 5 checks back there. It's a long hike, and without flight, or speed boost, you take a lot of damage. But it could be value.
Oh, warp boots. Okay. And I didn't actually see if Matrick fought Stom, or if he just warped out.
He warped out. I didn't see what item he got.
Yeah, he did have a couple of warp boots here. Now, Kefal only has 1 pair of warp boots left over here, so he would have to use one to get the Stomp skip, and then he would be stuck in Leaf, since that's the only place known that you can warp to avoid the fight. And we're a little short on magic spells right now. I think it's just been changed and refreshed so far.
Yeah, I think Steve Hacks is stating that Stom had Recover as well, so the ability to cleanse off status effects for 24 MP.
Okay. I don't think that works on the Blob spell, though. At least it doesn't in vanilla. But Matrick just grabbed the Fruit of Repun, which... one of the Fruits of Repun is actually considered a major item since it's dropped by a boss. But anyway... Do you have to get the item from Zebu in order to trigger Mado to appear in Chiron?
Yep.
Okay.
So we've got Matrick and Tornell wandering around Mount Hydra right now. Dragon Dark's gonna get his refresh and probably be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, so right now, actually, Dragon Dark is the highest in experience level at level 8. The bottom 2 runners are at level 6, and Matrick is true to his word of playing fast and loose level 5, although he is going to grind a little bit right here.
Yeah, like you mentioned before, the golems are pretty good experience and not a lot of fuss.
They put the wrong zombies on this mountain. These are the Mount Sabers. These are the Mount Saber abominable snowmen. Not the Mount Hydra abominable mudmen. Yeah, that's level 6. And also, while we were talking about that, Tornell dinged level 7.
Yeah, and of course with Warrior Ring, it's usually pretty easy to pick up experience, because normally things that you avoid, you just run at with level 1 beams flailing everywhere.
Another thing that you might have noticed Dragon Dark do just now is, as soon as he called the Dolphin, he turned off Shell Flute. It actually costs you an extra frame to swing your sword if you have Shell Flute equipped. But he obviously has to turn it off anyway, so he doesn't get the error message. But the sooner you do it, the better, because it saves you that 1 frame for every sword swing. Yikes. Tornell does not have an assortment of fun enemies right now. A couple of petrifying zombies and a couple of gilifying Goros.
But he dashes through it like there's no problem at all, which is pretty great.
Yeah, like I said, all 4 of these runners have basically been playing Randomizer since it came out.
Matrick just reflexively charging up to 2 to take out that wall. It's real easy just to do that because it's pretty normal. And Kylo commenting, that was a scary room, especially without flight. That was just a scary room, even with flight.
Yep. And Matrick has now surpassed Kefal in levels, so Kefal's behind at level 6 here. What level do you usually like to go for the end game when you play this?
I mean, normally you have to get to 16 in the vanilla game, but thankfully we don't need it. If I'm under, like, 35 key items, 8 is usually where I want to be. Above that, and I just want to try and take advantage of, being able to push out to 12 really easily to have the extra health.
Okay. I usually shoot for at least 12, somewhere between 12 and 14. If I'm close to dinging again when I'm approaching Dragon 2 and the enemies in the final hallway are worth the experience, then I might go for, 1 extra level just for the end. Alright, we'll
Yeah.
see if Dragon Dart goes for some Tink strats against Sabira as well. I don't know. Did Tornell make it? Did he successfully Tink Sabrina? Sabira. I keep saying Sabrina.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch wasted him, sadly. It's real hard without barrier to avoid the popcorn, so he got killed by popcorn.
Okay. Another advantage that Dragon Dark has over Tornell's fight is he's got Warrior Ring. So remember that every shot is going to deal 1 damage, but when you can get in those shots from a range with Warrior Ring, that's just fantastic. And Matrick showing off how useful Refresh is with going through the football spewing gargoyles. And okay, so another thing Dragon Dark did here was he just discarded an item. I guess it was probably a lysis plant. You know, not terribly useful. It cures paralysis, but there are other ways around that. However, you always want to have 1 inventory space open on your top row, just so that you don't get the error message you have too many items. And Matrick is in a Stixie Cave. He's gonna get the 3 items on the left, but he'll have to leave the 3 items on the right for when he comes back with Plight. Dio's Pendant. Okay, so a really nice buff to that item, and you'll see this right now. You would actually recover MP as you're moving, so it recovers 1 MP gradually if you stand still in vanilla, but in randomizer you can continue to get the magic regeneration even while moving.
It's a really nice quality of life change.
Was that a vanilla Sword of Thunder? No, that was a Sword of Fire. Okay, so we'll see if Dragon Dark's doing a sequence break right here. The game expects him to have Sword of Fire. Now we finally found Sword of Fire on Matrick's screen. And we'll see what that would have unlocked against Sabira here. Now, they would be able to do almost a full clear of Goa Fortress once they find Sword of Thunder.
Well, the logic will say that they can do it. Whether or not they can is a different story altogether.
That remains to be seen.
I believe in our runners. They're all really good, but, you know...
Yeah, that's why they're there and we're here.
I mean, with Warrior Ring, it actually probably makes things, you know, fairly doable even for somebody of my caliber, who is good but not great.
Yeah, and do also note that in some flag sets, you could actually do what's called a Sword Charge glitch. So right now, Dragon Dark has a Sword of Water with a Blizzard bracelet, and he's got a Sword of Wind. Now, in the original game, you could actually trick the game into thinking that you have the level 3 Wind Sword with that item set. However, that glitch has been fixed in today's flag set, so they will not be able to get that extra, 8 attack power versus the 2 attack power that Dragon Dark Sword of Wind has. And the reason that's important connected with Goa Fortress is that they'll have to use specific swords on each boss's Sword of Wind for General Kalbas, boss of Floor 1 in Goa Fortress.
And noted jerk.
A noted jerk, especially if you don't have Barrier. Barrier is such a good spell. I think that's probably the most underappreciated spell of my childhood. I didn't understand how good it was.
Yeah, so K-Pal had the same idea, decides, maybe pinning Gusabera down 1 shot at a time is a good idea, so...
Yeah, and apart from just being downright difficult, these Tink strats are going to take a really long time. I would not be surprised if Tornell actually finishes Sabira before Dragon Dark, but it's going to be a close one. He's attacking Waifu. Don't attack Waifu. Oh, it was Sabira.
And as you can see, we're actually getting damage flashes on Tornell's screen because he's doing damage, not just 1 at a time.
Yeah, so Dragon Dark did just finish Sabira, and that gave him a ball of fire. Which is something Tornell could really use here. And a magic ring, probably the best tool item to find is a magic ring. Maybe second only to Opal Statue. But situationally, magic ring's basically just better since you have Refresh. And yeah, Ball of Fire means that the second fight against Sabir is going to be a lot nicer. And we have another Sabira Tinker, and Kefal just finished her off, so... Yeah, I mean, basically you just saw how much faster the fight was when you have the right sword. And Kefal's gonna get his ball of fire. Okay, rather than going straight to backtracking to Evil Spirit Island, Matrick is going to take the Sword of Fire and go into some of the ice caves.
Yeah, one of the big things that we're still hunting for right now is flight. Oftentimes, full shuffle seeds really like to give up flight early and often. Today, not so much.
Flight's just a nice spell to have in here because all of the items are pushed to the back, but they're on opposite sides of this little river.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
And Rabbit Boots. So there is actually a nice effect added to Rabbit Boots here, and that is that you can charge a sword shot while moving if you have Rabbit Boots. That is another addition made to the randomizer. Of course, Rabbit Boots also allow the runner to jump by pressing the A button if they have it equipped. Unfortunately, it's just not as good in most situations as having something like Warrior Ring or Speed Boots.
Yeah, and since we've already got Warrior Ring, don't expect to see the Rabbit Boots get too much use unless they need to hop up the slopes in Mount Saber West.
That's true. Rabbit Boots could be required to access one item in Mount Saber West. Hop up the slope, as you said.
Matrick getting the ivory statue for the back of Dragonia Fortress, but has to orphan the Brokahana check because no Flute of Life.
Oh, right, the Akahana. There's just so many nicknames for things.
He just wants to borrow 500 gold. It's no big deal. He'll pay you back.
So Akahana is a professional jeweler, right? Like he has ring. He gives you the shield ring in vanilla. He lets his friend borrow a warrior ring. He has a little statue. All right. So actually, as we said, Matrick wants to go ahead and clear out these ice caves since he just found the Sword of Fire. Rabbit Boots just allowed him full access to this area, so very nice.
And the interesting thing about jumping also is that, we usually see it with the flight spell where you could fly over enemies. If you've got good timing with the Rabbit Boots, you can jump over hitboxes for enemies as well.
Yeah, and also I will point out that having the Rabbit Boots to jump up that slope is intended and required in the vanilla game. Unless you, use the new sequence break. But,
yeah, unless you never go there in the first place.
Okay, so there are a ton of items in this game, but remember, the most important items you see on the tracker here. In order to beat the game, the runners will require all 4 swords, all 3 bows, and the flight spell. Still have a bit of a ways to go. And I believe all the runners actually have the Bow of Moon. They should have all checked the dolphin by now, I would think.
I'm having, again, really a hard time keeping up when they pop open the item menus because they come up so quickly.
I'll just give it to them.
And if they don't have it, then they missed a really easy...
Yeah, if they don't have it, that's their fault.
and then we'll all complain about how rando gonna rando, and how we all make this mistake, and, we'll commiserate later. I think people in chat are commenting on how Axeman is doing off-stream. Axeman is a scary, scary runner of this game as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, only room for 4 of the runners here on the restream, but we do have 6 people in the race. We also have Sho Fukumachi in the race, in addition to the Axeman.
Yeah, as you can see, our runners are now all level 9 or higher, as Warrior Ring lets you just roll up the experience like it's no big thing. Yeah, so still at large for our runners on stream, though. We're still looking for Sword of Thunder, we're still looking for Flight, we're 2 bows out.
Yeah, once we find Sword of Thunder, that's going to open up a ton of item locations just in Goa Fortress. Flight will actually open up the 4th floor, but and you can go into Goa Fortress backwards. However, without Sword of Thunder, you won't be able to go from the 4th floor down to the 3rd floor.
And there was Flight, though, for Matrick at the top of Mount Saber West in Tornell's treasury.
So yeah, Sword of Thunder in Goa Fortress 4th floor, huh?
Possibly, but yeah, that would be really annoying, honestly, because you get teleported back to Chiron when you get it, but Matrick with Flight is a fly up the hill here, going to use the Key of Prison because the backside here is blocked. Ooh. Not that Matrick needs lag lightning to finish the game, but boy is it nice to have.
Yeah, if he finds the Storm Bracelet, that's just going to make the final tower much, much easier. Although with Warrior Ring, it won't be too bad either way.
Yeah, it'll be assured to have Sword of Thunder and Warrior Ring, which is good times usually too.
Yeah, and that was also really good timing because it's a lot faster. Oh, trading in a medical herb for a magic ring, really good. It's also really good timing because checking the Mount Saber North items from the back is a bit faster than doing it the normal way, starting from the Dari's Inn.
Yeah, and if you're not on full shuffle, this is extremely faster because both key items are at the top. This is the Key of Prison chest, which looks like it has 9 in it, so Matrick not getting any value out of Saber North so far. Flight was in the chest next to Tornell at the top of Mount Saber West.
Mm-hmm. And as for Tornell's item itself, I don't think anybody's found the Tornado Bracelet yet. So one thing you might notice the runners do, the bracelets and the balls are progressive. So the first one you pick up is the ball, and the second one you pick up is the bracelet. However, in the case of Ball of Wind versus Tornado Bracelet, it's important to pay attention to the text, because only the one that gives you the text, Tornado Bracelet, will enable you to get the item from Tornell and Mount Saber West. So, we do have a Ball of Wind on Tornell on the bottom left, but that was actually the Ball of Wind text and not the Tornado Bracelet text. Okay, simple, right?
Easy as pie.
These players are menuing so fast. I'm trying to see if we missed a ball or a bracelet somewhere, but I can't.
RPG speedrunners good at menuing. Who knew?
Okay, so we do have a Ball of Wind for Dragon Dark. And we also just got
barrier, what that looked like.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Matrix fast and loose play, starting to really charge forward here. Dragon Dark, keeping pace as well. All of our runners fairly interested in that Key of Prison now that they can start flying.
I hear someone talking.
Good old backwards Mount Saber North.
A couple warp boots. Nice find from Matrick.
I think that was the interesting thing about learning this randomizer was that basically when I started learning this randomizer, I learned all the dungeons backwards. Like, I didn't have to do anything forwards, I just learned everything in reverse.
Alright, so Matrick has gone to... Is he actually going to go and finish off Siberia? Or does he want to just check the Calming the Whirlwind item? He equipped Wind, and not Gold Statue, so... He's actually... Although he doesn't need the wind sword because he already broke all the walls. That's fine.
I think he also knows that the enemies in here are vulnerable to it, potentially, so he might be doing it that way for that reason.
Yeah, but they're also vulnerable to water, and he has the higher attack power on the water. But anyway, he'll get Ball of Fire here. So, you know. Yeah. He's not probably going to be too happy with that, since this is a long way out of the way to get that item. It's a nice item, but probably not worth this kind of backtrack.
Nope, it's definitely a time loss here, but he doesn't know that yet. All our runners do have flight now. Dragon Dark was the last runner to get it around 52 minutes, so he's going to start doing the backside of Mount Saber North.
I'm going to say Sword of Thunder will either be in Goa Fortress Floor 4 in that 5 chest room, or Dragon 1. 3 item locations, one from Dragon 1, one from Azteca, and a minor item location inside the Big Pyramid.
I'm gonna say that it's in a really annoying place for our runners because they'll never think to do this. It's on Mado 1.
Did you say Mado 1?
Yeah.
They need Sword of Thunder to trigger Mado 1, actually.
No, do you need Sword of Thunder to trigger Mado 1? Do you need it to trigger the front end of Go Fortress?
Yeah, you have to... In order to trigger the slaughter in Chiron, you have to go into front of Goa Fortress with the Sword of Thunder.
Ah.
I think Matrick probably is happier about that magic ring than he's going to be about the Ball of Fire.
I mean, he's going to take it, because it's here. He's not going to forget the check, thankfully.
Yep, good old Clark Kent. Why do you think he gives you X-ray glasses in vanilla? Come on, guys.
He gives you the cool shades.
Gives you X-ray vision. I think K-Fal's going to Big Pyramid here.
Yeah,
I really like this play.
This is the Dragon 1 check. I'm all about this life.
So the reason I really like going to Dragon 1 as soon as you grab flight is you have to come back here anyway, and you pick up the teleport to Sahara on the way. It's 3 items in a full shuffle. Without a full shuffle, it's 2 major items, so it's probably even better. But at any rate, you get the teleport point. 3 major items, pretty easy. There is the first room in this pyramid is actually a pretty good farm spot. And finally, another reason. Pyramid, teleport. Oh, also, the teleport back to Sahara is also useful to get the item from the Rabbit Grove, which the runners actually can get with change immediately.
I mean, they also need telepathy, I think, in these flags. I think that's been fixed.
Oh, okay. So that's good. They'll have the teleport point in order to come back and check Dio once they find teleport.
And level 12 K-Pal just clowns on Dragon 1. He just rams the sword right through him.
And just a Lysis plant. And a flame bracelet. Okay, so Siberia 2 is going to be free at least.
I mean, not just that, but that's a good way to finish the game. Fire 3 in Tower is another great option for just getting through the end game.
Yeah, I know I'm in a minority here, but I actually prefer Blizzard Bracelet to Flame Bracelet in Tower.
You're a little weird, I'm not gonna lie. Matrick clowns on Dragon 1, Tornal clowns on Dragon 1.
Yeah, so... Okay, so Kefal is... Did he come in here before? I know. Okay, he did. You can see by the ice bridge that he's been here before. There is the battle armor chest, which is on a little island here, requires flight to get to. And then he'll be able to get the minor item. Oh, it's just a mimic. Okay, so, oh, very good. I'm very glad that Kefal did that. So this first room in Oasis Cave is actually a save point which means if he doesn't like what he gets from that one chest, he can just press reset. It'll warp him back to the beginning of this room here, and he also, gets the health back that he lost from that mimic. Really good play.
So Akana's loner item to the character here in Go of Fortress is normally the Warrior Ring, if I remember. Instead, Matrick gets the Power Ring. Pretty good, I think.
Yeah, Power Ring is, in most cases, well, I would say in almost every case, the two best worn items, the items on the second row there, are Speed Boots when you're running around and Power Ring when you're fighting bosses.
Yep, Warrior Ring, a nice substitute for Power Ring if you've got Warrior Ring instead, for safe fighting sometimes.
Yeah, and there's a couple mimics in this room, just like in vanilla, and a Flute of Lime. All right, let's see Stone Dakahana have that Sword of Thunder now. Hey, there it is! I called it. Of course,
about to leave.
Now he's automatically warped out and has to leave an item behind, but he's gonna want to get in there anyway.
I mean, with 4 swords in hand, it might be the play to go back there and do it from the front.
Yeah, he's gonna do it from the front. It doesn't look like K-Fall actually grabbed the ivory statue, so he's gonna miss out on whatever Matrick I just missed that. The heck? Maybe it was a tool item. I watched it on the restream as well. I still didn't see what Matrick got from Kensu there.
Alright, so K-Pal triggers the Massacre, but is ignoring the Massacre. Tornell is about to turn in the ivory statue, and gets a magic ring.
So Matrick went and checked the bottom chest first, so he's actually gotten all the items in that room now, I think. And I didn't see... I thought that said Warrior Ring, but I know that's not right.
No, is that the magic ring?
Maybe. Well, maybe Tornell will get it. Okay, Tornell's gonna get it. A mirrored shield, okay. So that's an item.
Protection for petrification.
Yeah, that's an item. That's the best thing I can say about it. It's sellable. I guess you could sell it at a pawn shop. That's probably the best thing. Yeah, it protects you from petrification, but again, petrification not really one of the nastier status effects in this anyway. And Warp Boots, that's good from Kelbesk too. And aside from that, it doesn't have a really high defensive value either.
Mirrored Shield replaces the second Flute of Lime because Flute of Lime was fixed to be 2 uses.
Yeah, and shoutouts to Steve Hacks, who's in chat right now. The main and, I mean, really only, as far as I know, active developer and coder of Crystalis Randomizer. Oh, I dropped a Warp Boots for a Lysis plant. Sorry, Kafal.
Alright, so Tornell doing the Massacre right now, trying to do Mado 1 with Blizzard 3.
Alright, a Psycho Armor from Mado 1, so again, that will not have the overpowered defensive stat that it has in Vanilla, however, it does still give you the health regeneration effect.
Yeah, Mr. Spokes catching us up here. I thought I caught it out of the corner of my eye, but Matrick from the Power Ring spot received the Bow of Truth, so 2 bows for Matrick right now.
Yeah, and with 4 swords in hand, he has but to find the Bow of Sun and then finish killing all the bosses. And he actually returned to Go Fortress the back way. So depending on the Bow of Moon location, this could actually be better or worse.
Yeah, the Power Ring spot's a really trolly spot because if you've come in there already, you don't remember to come back to break out that wall. You could be full clearing at Seed. We could see one of our runners hundo tonight, possibly.
Uh-oh. Alright, actually has barrier to get past the football gargoyles, that's good. And he's gonna show off just how strong that Power Ring is against Carmine, the 4th and final boss of Goa Fortress.
walks up and stabs him in the face.
Yeah. Oh, there. Oh, we already found that bow of truth. Bow of truth for Tornell. Okay. So there are 2 major item locations behind Carmine, so that's good. Dragon Dark also went in the front. That's... Why did Matrick go to the left? That's
Not
fine.
sure.
Oh well. I guess it's probably about the same amount of time, since if you take the right stairs, you have to go a little bit farther right than...
Matrick speedruns the heck out of this game. I trust him. I know, trusting Matrick is the thing, I guess, but...
Have you seen this guy's avatar? It's a blob with a troll face.
I mean...
If you want to check out his avatar, go ahead and click on the link to his channel. And while you're over there, hit that follow button. And give a follow to Dragon Dark, Tornell, and Gafal as well.
I was told to never trust anybody who plays the 7th Saga Randomizer, but...
7th Saga Randomizer? Blizzard Bracelet Mado, not even a real seed. Blizzard Bracelet Power Ring Mado.
Yeah, rolling around at the speed of sound, but dying horrifically anyway.
Another magic ring. Alright, Statue of Onyx was in here as well. That's another fetch quest. Another quick teleport to a town, turn it in fetch quest. One of several in this game.
Yeah, telepathy was down here too, which opens up the dwarf items. So we're getting a lot of spells and abilities that open up these one-shot fetch. And yet, one of the bows is hiding in a spot that's going to be really hard to remember, so we'll see how that plays out.
And the power ring in the Oasis Cave.
Yeah.
Maybe Dragon Dark will go just walk there from Kensu's room.
Potentially. It'd be a good play. Because you've got to kill all these bosses anyway, so you might as well route it that way. Just such a good place for it, man. I just can't believe it's there. Oh, and it looks like Matrick got spiderwebbed. That annoying sound that you hear on his screen is his MP draining away.
You know, what's funny is that's not the vanilla enemy for this room, but the vanilla enemy for this room does also shoot those webs. And actually, that puddle enemy is in the lower floor. He found his way upstairs. I think between Matrick and the other runners, we've found every item location.
Yeah, also down here, down here is also Love Pendant, so another fetch quest.
Yeah, without paralysis, though, a Love Pendant is useless.
It's very pretty, though.
I'm just gonna give it to Asina myself and propose to her. Asina's second best waifu in this game.
Whatever brings you joy. As you can see with story mode, I mean, even though we just have not been finding bows, this run is going very deep right now. So, just so we know from off-stream, paralysis does come from the Statue of Onyx, so that Love Pendant turn-in will matter as well. Have any of our runners on stream gone back to Styxy at this point? I don't know if they have.
Oh, I don't believe so. You know, I'm actually recollecting something dumb that I said earlier. And that was, we were talking about Matrick returning to fight Sabira 1, That's actually required with the story mode flag. So even though, maybe Ball of Fire wasn't the greatest thing to find there, it was actually required to go back there anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, that happens.
Relatively new flag since my glory days of Crystalis Randomizer.
Yeah, Carmine also had the insect flutes, so we have all the flutes. We have the eyeglasses to do the Joel check, Kensu the Lighthouse.
Yep, but we don't have to get a second alarm flute either. It is not consumed upon use.
Yeah, it's been promoted to key item status, which was pretty awesome, honestly. K-Val bails out with all these fetch quests on hand, and so I'm gonna do Kensu Lighthouse right now. It's an item box, so it's a blank.
You have too many items. Val has discovered too many items.
Is the last bow... Does Tornell have the last bow on Mount Saber West, potentially? We're really running out of things to do. Matrix out of...
We haven't found Tornado Bracelet yet, though, so we can't even get that.
Right. No, they didn't get Tornell's item. No one has Tornado Bracelet yet. Is it gonna be like Gas Maskless Insect Flute into Tornado Bracelet into third bow?
Yes.
Oh god.
Yes, it is.
Also, Matrix giving us the Angry Sea theme for a little bit there. One of the biggest bops in this game for sure. Matrix getting paralysis, filling out his spell list. We've got K-Val doing the Massacre.
Matrix going to turn in that paralysis immediately. It's required to get Kensu's item here with the love pendant that he either made for or got from Messina. I don't remember. This game has a weird translation.
Yeah.
So raise your hands if you've ever paralyzed Stom by mistake.
And you can't see it, but my hand is in the air.
Shield ring. That's a good item to find early. Not so much at this stage.
Not so much when you have all 8 spells, all 4 swords, a couple of upgrades, warrior rings, power ring.
Basically, barrier obviates shield ring in any case.
Yeah, Truth is in the vanilla power ring spot in Oasis or in in front of Pyramid. Excuse me.
Yeah, Truth is what you get from Azteca. He basically gives you the item required to reveal himself. Spoiler.
The storyline is weird.
Yeah, I think between the Japanese version and the American game cartridge and the American instruction manual, you have 3 completely different stories. Alright, well at least we have refresh and a ton of MP here. And we did get teleport, which means nothing. Because
Dragon Dark Tornado Bracelet. Tornado Bracelet's in Oak.
Okay, so it means nothing because we were able to enter Saber North from the backside.
Yes, Swamp Run was required, but the Bow of Sun is in Dragon Dark's possession. He now needs to figure out which one-off check is going to give him the third bow.
Yeah, hasn't gotten the Bow of Truth from Oasis. Oh no, he did get the Bow of Truth.
He did not get the Bow of Truth. Matrick has the Bow of Truth. Dragon Dark just got the Bow of Sun to go with his Bow of Moon.
I swore that he went and checked the Power Ring location. Well, rip him.
Nope, not at all. K-Val checking Akana, getting nothing because it's just an item. Secret Final Boss is asking which story is the actual canon.
The actual canon story is that scientists from from the past, an advanced civilization built the Star Road to grant people's wishes, and then it turned out that Gino was a doll and Samus was a girl.
Play Horizon Zero Dawn, everybody. I don't think Patrick's in the right place. He's in Swamp. He's about to get his third bow. He's about to enter go mode here on the screen here.
Unless he actually goes and fights the insect, which, if he were doing that, he wouldn't be saving the kid first. Are you sure Dragon Dark doesn't have the Bow of Truth? Maybe it's in his item buffer.
He doesn't have an item buffer. He's burnt it.
Okay, well...
Wait.
He has the Bow of Moon and the Bow of Sun, which means he can find... He's gonna YOLO back a Pyramid.
He's gonna YOLO the back... Is he YOLOing the back of Pyramid item?
No, I think he just remembered that he doesn't have Bow of Truth. Well, there's that.
Aww.
Oops.
Yeah,
I mean, while you're there, you may as well check inside the pyramid.
He also remembered he didn't kill Mato 1, so he's back here killing the Auto Tomato. Matrick, though, on his way to finish this seed. With level 12, he should be pretty much in good shape.
Especially Power Ring, Flame Bracelet,
Armor, Shield, any spell you want.
Purple Hat. Wait.
3
He
red
doesn't
rings.
wear a hat. I always thought he was wearing a hat when I was a kid. He just has hat-looking hair.
I guess so.
He's wearing a headband. Matrick has the headband of power. He's in go mode.
Yep, K-Foul fighting Insect here, not that that's necessary. Using Refresh to keep his health up while he beats down the bug.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a bad idea, since it will kind of overwrite the necessity to save the kid.
Yeah, it does give you all 3 items as well, so...
He just has to remember the name of the town that he wants to go to.
Yeah, he got 3 letters, but...
Okay.
Dragon Dark is YOLOing the back of Pyramid here for the Bow of Truth. He's like, what's the most stupid place that it could be?
Power Ring. Yeah, I don't know what Kefal is doing here.
He's going into Oasis Cave.
Okay, did he get...
Yeah, he's gonna get the bow in a minute here. He's going towards the Power Ring spot, it looks like. Flying inward. Also checking the battle armor location, I believe, because he hasn't grabbed that yet.
No, Kefal definitely checked the battle armor spot, because I remember he did the reset to get back into the first room.
Got it, that's right, which was a really good reset.
Made a point to call that out.
Yeah, right, so, but he is gonna get his bow here.
Alright, so it turns out using the Bow of Truth turns Dragon into Dragon. Would you?
And
Who
now,
would've thunk it?
now you're gonna see with the Fire 3 and the Power Ring, he's going to...
Yeah, if only we had an item that increased the frame rate. That's what we need. Okay, so... You know, I do like that we're trying to make Rabbit Boots more useful by having the mobile charge ability, but let's have Rabbit Boots reduce lag.
Yeah, Matrick is using the Fire 3 on Dragon 2. The Dragon 2 fight, you'll notice he's got a couple of attacks. He fires Popcorn, which is not what you want, and he fires lasers out of his hands, which is what you want.
Okay, he had an opal stature. If he moves forward and shoots a bunny beam before doing the lasers, that's what you really want.
Yeah, because then he'll usually do lasers twice, potentially. But he walks up and gets some stabs in while Fire 3 is going off there. Here's the bunny beam.
Yeah, it's
by barrier, and
it's
you're
very easy.
after this.
The tell is, if he walks down to the bottom of the screen, then he's going to shoot a bunny beam. It's not...
And then he always walks back to the top, and he's always guaranteed to do lasers right afterwards. So he's got it. He's got Dragon 2 is dead. It actually has Tekka, who's actually a robot. Because robots.
Is he a robot in the Japanese version?
Yeah, he's a robot in the Japanese version.
I think he's the satyr in the instruction manual version.
Yeah, he's a robot dragon. You built him to do your dirty work, basically. So he's gonna use Fire 3 and the Power Ring to try and get through these enemies fairly swiftly.
Not even using Blizzard Bracelet.
Tornell is working on getting through the swamp here, so Tornell's gonna get his go mode in a minute. K-Pal is also working his way through here. Says he's on Dragon 2 now with, looks like Fire 3.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put Bow of Sun on his tracker.
Already got it. I added Tornell's too, because he's about to get it, so he's in go mode as well. As he immediately teleports to Sahara as fast as he humanly can.
Yeah, now we just need Dragon Dark to go back to that Power Ring location.
Yeah, he went to check the other side of Styx, he didn't get it. K-Pal dropping Fire 3s on Dragon here, catches a fireball in the face. Also had an Opal statue break, so he's fine. You can see Matrick with the Warrior Ring Sword of Thunder strats here, which is one of the big industry standards for getting through these forms of enemies. Plus, when they're offset, all these enemies have projectile attacks, and when they're offset like this, it's just really easy to... Dragon Dark finds the Storm Bracelet at the top of the mountain, and he is taking a moment to ponder, it looks like. K-Pal, our second on-stream runner here, to make it into the tower. Tornell working his way up right now. Matrick gets bodied by that helicopter, the worst enemy in the game by far. It's just a jerk. It's a jerk bird.
My least favorite bird.
Matrick dealing with it as fast as he can to keep it on screen. Matrick's on floor 3. It looks like K-Pal is just finishing floor 1. Breaking out his Sword of Thunder here to make quick work of a helicopter, moving up to floor 2.
Yeah, we already had a close call with Matrick. Fortunately, he was able to get that magic ring and cast Refresh in time, but...
Yeah, I was looking real dicey for a second there. He took 2 hits in a row, and enemies up here do hit fairly hard. They will body you. Yeah, the final boss.
The, quote, final boss. Robo Brain or whatever. Dinah. Robo Brain. Oh, we have a Storm Bracelet for Tornell. Where did you get that?
That was at the top of Mount Hydra in the bow box at the flight.
Oh, nice. Well, he'll definitely have the easiest tower, but will it be enough for him to catch up to Kefal? Kefal already clearing up the second floor here, it looks like.
Yeah, making pretty short work of it. You know, he's got Refresh going. He's got 4 magic rings, it looks like, so it looks like he's in good shape.
Yeah, both runners at level 13 as well.
Here comes Dine. Blink and you'll miss it. Actually, he's gonna throw out Barrier and the Power Ring.
Is he actually gonna shoot the turrets first?
Is he styling?
He's doing it Contra style, dude.
Is this PM?
This is a thing.
I didn't know this was a thing.
You don't just walk up to that line and spam B?
Yeah, you throw up Barrier and spam B.
Nobody's finished yet. Okay, you got it.
You can kill them. Oh no, don't die to dying. That would be the most embarrassing thing ever. I would never let Matrick live it down if he dies in this fight. Like, he would hear about it for weeks.
Well, now I kind of want him to die.
She says having died on this fight the first time she played.
Okay, come on, the turret's almost gone. The turrets have more health than the brain.
Yeah, the brain's just like a big old target. Just walk up, slightly offset yourself so you don't get hit by the lasers, and do this.
Come on, so close.
But we did get, like, the entirety of this track, which is wild, because you don't ever hear much more than 3 seconds.
Oh boy, well, his timer will stop as soon as he loses control in the... There he goes.
Once the screen goes dark, the fight is over, so Matrick is our first place finisher. The XRL time, 1:22 and 12 seconds, so good job to Matrick. Very nicely done.
Yeah, and holy cow. Oh, still a floor behind for Tornell. And Dragodark's on Dragon 2 now. Must have found that bow of truth during that gripping Dyna fight.
I was very, very into it. But yeah, K-Pal is climbing up now. He's got Crystalis, the greatest sort of...
Well, if K-Pal decides to shoot the turrets out, then...
No, K-Pal is just going to stand still. Stand still, use refresh.
Does he have barrier? What the heck? Who's shooting you? Is this a flag? Is the turret required flag on?
Not actually a flag.
That would be interesting to make, this fight substantial. You have to kill the turrets and buff his health a little bit or something. So you actually have something to do at the end.
Is K-Pal shooting the turrets also?
There must be some pact. Like this is planned. Games.
Is the fix in? Is this rigged?
Well, let's see if Tornell shoots the turrets. And speaking of being Matrick, that's the guy that just got in here. What's up, Matrick? Congratulations on your victory tonight.
Oh, thanks. And what'd you think of Dyna?
Yeah. Wait, Kefal just died to Dyna. Did you guys? Is this a new flag that we're introducing where you have to shoot the turrets in the Dyna fight?
No. You actually do not have to shoot the turrets. However, Dyna has been altered. So Dyna is now absolutely brutal if you don't shoot the turrets, because Dyna now does insane amounts of damage. The wave projectiles come out, they now block your shots. Dyna sprays randomly everywhere. It's not controlled back and forth from right to left. And on top of everything else, the only way to stop the waves coming out is to shoot the side pods. So if you kill both of the side pods, it makes the fight infinitely easier. Nice, Tornell, got it.
Wow,
this is a photo finish here.
Finished, yeah.
Wow, look at this!
Yeah, wow, Tornell gets there first. 125.06 versus K-Pal's 125.09. Unbelievable.
Okay, I have to ask, where was the Thunder bracelet?
Bow of Moon, or Bow of Sun, rather.
Bow of Sun for location, yeah, top of
Mountain Island.
Yeah, this had a weird route. God, there was so much back and forth and all over the place. Like the troll factor of the way that this seed was played out was great.
The Hell Run was required in Swamp as well to finish. That was part of the... And of course...
It was required twice! Not just once, twice! You had to do both of them! You had to run to Oak and go save the kid. That was awesome.
Yep. This was a heck of a seed, certainly.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. This flag set here in particular has a lot of interesting things to it, and it's not exactly the It's not the hardest flag set by any stretch, but it has just enough difficulty to it because we've removed a lot of the glitches that make things easier. That it goes quite a ways towards towards adding to the challenge. Then the story mode flag that's here forces you to go through all of the bosses of the game, with the exception of the giant insect and the vampires.
Which is convenient for you since you kind of bailed on Sabira 1.
Yeah. Well, did you happen to see where I got the gas mask?
No.
It was in the crypt! So if the insect would have been required, you would have had to go into the crypt to get the gas mask to go out to kill it.
The crypt?
Yeah, so that's the area...
the small pyramid?
Yeah, the backdoor pyramid.
Yeah, I got it.
As Dragon Dark works his way through it there, as he's going to finish in 4th place, 127.06. A great time, but he got hung up real badly on the bow at the power ring.
And Matrick, what? Dinah? Come on. You see, Tornell sniped him about 3 seconds. You see that? That's amazing.
Good stuff. It was a great race.
Oh man, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. And I really do like how that adds a little more challenge instead of that trivial just stand in one spot and spam the button. Was not expecting it though.
Hey,
yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we gave you guys the heads up that there was something changed on Dinah, but we intentionally didn't tell anybody else so that it would be an interesting change to the end of it that you guys would see. Because
it did take us off guard. Honestly, I think our best theory was just that you guys had made a deal to all meme it up.
No, I actually was surprised to watch both Kfal and Tornell. They man-moded that by ignoring the turrets, and that is the hard way to do that by far.
Yeah, see, because I was playing Saturday night with the Lewis scripts, and I saw those two that you could hit those, and obviously it pings for 1 damage or no damage. And then when I heard the little sound, I was like, well, maybe I'm supposed to kill those. So I guess you can kill those?
Yep. And when you kill the turrets on the side, it stops the waves from shooting out. So now that you guys are here, we can tell you what we've actually done. So Dinah, I explained this to the people in the channel when I first got here, but Dinah now, the wave beams that she shoots out, they block your shots, and they actually do, I believe it's 128 base damage. So you're going to take a huge hit when you get blasted by them. Furthermore, the turrets on the side that normally alternate fire patterns back and forth, they actually alternate shots. And on top of it, they're actually programmed that the location where they fire from, it actually moves back and forth a couple of tiles. So there's not really a safe place. You have to, if you don't have barrier and you got there without barrier, you have to dodge like crazy.
Oh yeah, I don't know what I've done without barrier there.
Yeah, it makes the fight pretty difficult, especially if you are running one of those seeds where you blasted right through it, found everything, and get to the tower without a bunch of high-powered levels and equipment and barrier or refresh.
You mean unlike this seed?
This one, yeah, this was almost a hundo seed.
The only location I didn't check was Tornell on Mount Saber South. That's it.
Yeah, I didn't check there. I didn't check Bow of Sun. I never went back for that. And I didn't go back to kill the insect after I got the gas mask in the crypt.
I killed the insect during a hell run. I was like, maybe. I was like, maybe it's there's a chain that I can skip. It gave me a medical herb. So
yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, this had a ton of areas where, especially early on, God, I think I reset out of both Fog Lamp Cave and Carissa Plant Cave because I went all the way to the end of them thinking there's got to be something here. And then I didn't even realize I had the windmill key, and I was like, oh no, stupid.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
That didn't do much. I went through there pretty early and got killed twice.
Yes.
And had to leave, go down to Leaf, buy a medical herb, hit the inn, and then go back up and try it again. And it's just like, can we get warp boots for less than like 2,000, please?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
jeez, yeah.
the in the fog lamp cave, the double Black Knight flail guys in the tiny room.
Yep.
I walked in there, got bopped, and went, "Nope, I'll come back." Yeah, that was there was some fun moments in this one. It had a lot of
That
had a
was
lot
fun.
of good stuff.
Yeah, I went Kirsa Plant Cave and went all the way through, tried to reset out, only to find that once you go into the field, if you reset, you just end up back in the... Actually, I think I ran back in or something. I don't know what I did, but my reset didn't work, and I had to run back through that worthless
Yeah.
cave.
Yeah,
And
I was making sure to. So I found the cheapest warp boots were in Amazones,
Yes, I found that.
and once I found that, I'm like, I'm going every time I don't have warp boots, I'm going back there and buying at least 2 pairs.
I bought a grip of them in Goa and Nadare's. I had like 4,000 gold almost when I got to Nadare's after doing Mount Saber North. And
I never
bought
went
a-
into theirs.
Yeah, they were like 600 each almost at that point.
Well, I found the warrior ring fairly early-ish. And by when early-ish, I mean like 30 to 40 minutes in.
Right?
Yeah, that was the same here.
And then that was like, okay, this is a little more manageable, that I can just spam shots.
I was worried that the Thunder Sword was going to be buried somewhere really stupid, and I
It
couldn't.
was in Carmine's area where you wanted to use it.
Right. I didn't want to go there because I'm like, if it's not here, I'm not gonna ping Carmine. I don't want to do that.
Oh, I totally would have pinged Carmine.
Oh yeah, I would have too, but I got the sword and was like, oh, really?
Well, the way I was looking at that was, you get in, I go in there, if the sword's there, it teleports me out, then I just teleport to Goa and come in through the front instead. If it's not there, I ping Carmine to death, teleport out, and then we'll just go in from the front anyway.
As
Yeah.
as it started getting later, I had this nagging just in my head that I was gonna get screwed by the right side of Stixie because I didn't go back.
Oh, neither did I. Now that I think about it.
Oh yeah, there was an antidote and 2 mimics in there.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad I didn't go back.
Yeah, I checked that because I hadn't checked the top of Hydra yet, and it's a little faster to walk from inside Stixie than it is to walk from Shiren to the top. So I figured it's 4 checks. So I checked all those, and it's like, well, I have Insect, Mount Saber South, and Power Ring location. Insect? Nope.
Oh, you man-moded that too?
Oh no, I had Gas Mask.
Oh, so you had already checked the. Oh, okay. You were just missing Truth. All right.
Yeah, I gambled on Truth being in the crypt and was very wrong. Though I found speed boots.
Yes. I got the speed boots and the gas mask, and I was like, oh, what a location.
So where was the storm bracelet?
I believe that was.
Full of sun location. They told me.
Oh, because
Yeah,
I
that
didn't go.
sounds
I didn't go back there either.
Yeah, I didn't have it either. That was like one of the first things I asked. Where was it?
Yeah.
It was
But-
the top spot in Hydra where the Bow of Sun usually is.
But with Fire 3 it should have been fine.
Oh yeah, it wasn't too bad. And finding Blizzard bracelet fairly early too was like, okay, good. Mado's not going to be too much of a problem.
I was cheering for Blizzard Sword 1 Mado, but it didn't happen, and I was very sad.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mado was. We were super equipped for Mado by the time he was remotely recorded.
I ended up pinging Sabera 1.
So did I.
It took me a while to find the Sword of Fire.
Oh, I boned right out. I was like, nah, it's not worth it.
I wanted to check the whole place, and I'm like, I'm gonna ping her. I'm gonna ping her to death. So I just
And
I water pinged her.
I had the warrior ring, so I was just like spamming the button.
It was
Yeah,
also
same
pretty
here.
early in, so it probably wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't. And there was a whole bunch of.
but not hard.
I was glad I found pretty much every opal statue. That helped.
So Steve rolled this seed, right?
Yeah, he did.
So he's not allowed to roll seeds anymore.
I was giving you crap.
Hey,
Matt and Steve are no longer allowed to roll seeds.
I was like, oh, thank God, he's not rolling the seed, and then
I'm already banned from rolling seeds as well, but that's more for other achievements I've achieved in other random.
I tell you that this was really fun. This was a fun seed to play though.
Yeah, this flag set's great. The removal of the glitches, with the exception of some that we can't remove.
I thought it worked pretty well for a showcase race as well.
Yeah, and everybody got to basically see the entire game, because everything was required. So that was, I think it was a lot better than our last race in terms of that, because the last race was not a full shuffle, so the items were only within specific locations, and you weren't required to kill all the bosses, so it was just bow and go.
Right.
Yeah. So, Matrick, I think the number one question in chat is, how far off are we from having a Crystalis Randomizer tournament?
Well, that's going to come down to the number of people that want to do it. I mean, I can get one set up and we can start it. We have enough people that run weeklies and do races and stuff that I think we can at least get something going. But it'd be great, to get as many as we can, because doing a tournament of a game like this, you could see that even pretty difficult flag sets still come in right around an hour and a half with a full, almost 100% clear across the board. And with some flag sets, they're 45-minute runs. So it's not like it's a super long game to run, and it's entirely, entire action the entire time. There's no breaks. You're just going. So yeah, I mean, it's on the horizon. It'll definitely come up. It was just, we've kind of been trying to grow the community and get the game to a point where it's really stable, and we're got a lot of things that are fixed. There's a current release build that's out right now, a release candidate that's got a lot of new things in it. And it keeps growing, so it's like, when do we want to stop it? Because when we do the tournament, it's probably going to be one of those things where it's like, all right, this is the build we're going to use for the tournament.
Yeah, you don't want to be changing versions.
Exactly. So that's kind of where it is. It's like, where do you cut it off? You have to stop it somewhere. So where do you do?
We have to tell Steve, hey, look, I know you have all these great features planned, but we got to finish the tournament.
Shut it down, sir.
Keep it on the experimental branch. It'll be fine.
Well,
This is definitely a thing.
About that though, anytime some of these like trickier experimental things come out, I was always intimidated by the thought of it. But once you start playing it, it's really accessible and really opens it up, makes it a lot more fun, I think.
Well, on top of it, the game is pretty unforgiving in the early parts of it when you're first learning how to run it. But, like any other speed game, once you get the mechanics of the game down and you've got some time under your belt, it starts to flow and feel a lot better.
Right.
But yeah, it can be a little rough in the beginning. Some of the bosses in particular, in some situations, are just horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Mato, too, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, thankfully we didn't have to see that tonight, right?
Not tonight.
It could have been.
Well, thankfully for us, right?
First sword, Sword of Thunder. Second item, flight. Alright, go, back door. Fight Mato.
I mean, it's not the worst idea, because scaling's real low still.
This is true. But then again, I mean, there is a baseline. Like, there's a baseline. So, even at low scaling values, some things are still strong. And they will still kill you pretty quick. High-end bosses fall into that.
I learned that with Dragon 2 one time. The hard way.
Yeah.
Rolled right in with pretty low scaling, and yeah, it didn't go well.
Yeah, I also dropped a link to our Discord server in chat, so make sure you guys check that out. And if you go to crystalisrandomizer.com, where you can generate your own game, and there are a ton of different flag options there, so make sure you read up, check those out. There's also a link to the Discord at Crystalizer. Wow. Crystalis Randomizer. Crystal,
That has been the abbreviation for us.
You know what, Cross? Just make it a glass of Crystal Light, and let's enjoy some Crystalis Randomizer.
CrystalisRandomizer.com. Link is also in chat, and there you'll also find a link to the Discord. If you need, help, even just help setting up streams, lots of cool people around the help. If you have questions about routing, about finding trackers and guides, that stuff's all out there as well. Easiest way to find it is to join our Discord. And anything else about the seed in particular, about any upcoming changes that you guys want to talk about before I sign us off?
I need to plug myself really quickly.
Oh yeah, we should plug everybody. Follow
Most importantly,
the runners.
most importantly, follow all these guys. They're all fantastic. But if you actually want more Crystalis Randomizer action, and you're up at say 3:45 Eastern time on Saturday, June the 8th, myself and Glitchwitch have a run for Power Up with Pride. So we will be running Crystalis Randomizer at 3:45 in the morning.
You should
Nice.
support.
There you have it.
That's a wonderful time to be running Crystalis Randomizer.
I know.
It's a wonderful cause. It breaks the after midnight rule I have for running randomizer, so it's going to be awful, but you should definitely show up and heckle me.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys for commentating too.
Definitely.
Always fun. Always fun times. So I think I'm gonna hop out of here too. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. So yeah, we've got the Speed Gaming Network here. Thank you for Feasel and Mythical and the rest of the Speed Gaming staff for giving us the space to talk about a game that we love. If you like randomizers, if you like speed gaming in general, there are plenty of tournaments, daily, weekly races of all kinds of games, both randomizer and vanilla, on the Speed Gaming Network. So follow this channel, follow Speed Gaming, follow Speed Gaming's 3 through 6 as well. And it looks like actually there's not too much on the schedule for the rest of tonight. Just a couple of other things, a couple Zelda games wrapping up pretty soon. So that's going to be it for the Speed Gaming Network for tonight. Tomorrow morning, I think at 10 o'clock, there's something going on. You can check out all the future streams on the schedule. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer tomorrow at 10 a.m. So, yikes. Okay. And thank you very much for joining me, Demarine, my awesome co-commentator for the evening. Make sure you give her a follow, and if you're up at 3:45 a.m., check out that race with her and Glitchwitch. And I will go ahead and let Demarine sign us off for the evening.
So again, follow these runners. Join us at crystalisrandomizer.com. We'd love to have you. Thank you again, Cross Product, for co-comming, and this was a blast. And I hope to see everybody out running this soon. So thanks.
See you next mission.